Hello friends, my name is Behroz and welcome to my channel. Today's video is a recorded podcast with my friend Wali Khan where he brings in a question that he received from one of his followers where they are inquiring as to how they can go about moving their money to Canada and then how can they use that money which they have as savings in Canada. Should they invest? Should they keep it as emergency fund? How to find job in Canada and how to eventually move into making and creating digital content. So in this particular podcast, I will be covering all of that with regards to what to do with your saving, how much emergency fund do you need, how much money do you need in order for you to survive in Canada, and what you should do with that money, where to invest, how to invest, and also how do you go about finding your dream job in Canada. And last but not the least, how can you become a digital content creator. So all of this will be covered in this particular podcast. Also, I highly recommend that you check out Wali Khan channel as well, where he talks about personal finance and productivity. I will leave the link to his channel in the description of this video. Last but not the least, before moving the podcast, I have a special ask of you, which is in case you find any value from this video, please make sure press the like button, as this keeps me motivated so I can improve the quality and quantity of content that I post on this channel. And secondly, which is more importantly, subscribe to the channel as well, because on this channel I post content pertaining to how you can achieve career success and personal finance success. So if any of these topics are of importance to you, make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. Now let's get rolling into the podcast.
So, Behroz, how are you?
I'm good, Wali. All
It's
is well.
been
How are things at your end?
good, all well. It's been a while that we connected, and this is a very unique way to connect because I've been doing this Q&A sessions on my Urdu channel, and this is the first time I'm going to do this on English with collaboration with you, because the reason is that we have collaborated earlier as well, but not in Q&A. So this is the first time we are collaborating together. First, for the viewers who might not know you, just briefly let us know about your current situation and what have you been doing.
Thank you, Ali. So I'll quickly introduce myself. I'm originally from South Asia, and I lived in the Middle East and then in Canada, and currently living in US. So kind of been all over the globe. I previously used to work for Procter & Gamble. Currently, I'm working for the Lego Group. I'm in finance. But this is for my day job. After my day job, what I have passion for is career coaching and personal finance coaching. So that's something I enjoy. I do it as well as part of my YouTube and LinkedIn. So if anyone is interested in any of these topics, they can connect with me on LinkedIn and on YouTube as well. And you rightly said, yeah, it's been a while since we connected, but I like this format of collaboration as well, where if there is any question or Q&A that you have from your audience, we can bring it here and bring different perspectives as well. And similarly, I have one for you as well, but we'll keep it for a different video. So there is a certain Q&A which is, I think you are more of an expert in that area. So we'll pause it for now, or we'll hold it for now, and we'll keep a separate video for that. But anyways, that was my introduction.
Awesome. And I've been following you on LinkedIn as well, and we've been actually collaborating on LinkedIn too. So this is something which is close to my heart about collaboration, because we've seen that the growth comes from collaboration, especially in social media. Unlike the regular businesses that we've been looking at, there are competitions there, but we've seen that collaborations are pushing all of us, whoever is in our group of this content creation. Anyways, the thing is, I get a lot of queries from a lot of people from my Urdu channel as well as English channel. So here I have got one of the queries, and I thought that as you are from North America, you've lived in Canada, you are now currently in US. So this question relates to UAE as well as Canada. So someone who wrote to me and asked me a few things. So I thought that we should just discuss with each other, and maybe it can help other people as well. So just let me read the email, maybe in a bit of it's a long email, but I can read, and then you can interrupt me wherever you think that it is requiring your response. So it is like that. Hello, Mr. Wali. Hope you're doing well. I'm an Indian expat living in Dubai and regularly follow your YouTube channel. I'm currently working in the digital marketing field. I need your advice on investment as an expat. I have never really done any investment earlier, just starting now, so I want to make the best use of my savings. Also, I need to mention here that I have plans of relocating to Canada next year, most probably in January. So as he's saying next year, we are recording this in November, so maybe just two months from now, because he's mentioning January of next year. So my spouse is currently working. My spouse is working currently there. So okay. So if we stop here, he mentions that he's moving to Canada. He has a wife who's already there, and she's working already there. And the plan is to move from Dubai to Canada, probably permanently, because they've got some kind of PR there. So, by the way, what is the situation right now in Canada? That whatever we've been hearing, and after Trump especially, a spike in Canadian migration in the US has, I don't know if you've seen that, but there is a Google trend which I can see that it has jumped up after Trump. So, what is the situation in Canada? If you can just brief me about that.
Yeah. So, while talking about this, especially the news where people are searching more how to move to Canada, I'm sure there are people in Canada who are also searching how to move to US. So
Yes.
no one is ever happy in any of the situation they are in. It depends on who you are, what you want. It's very different. I always say Canada or US or immigration is not for everyone, and it's not the best thing for everyone. It's not like if I have immigrated to Canada, maybe it's the best for you as well. We all need to assess our personal situations, personal priorities, and then decide. I was told once when I was moving to Canada that there is no right or wrong decision. The only decision that is right is the one that you are comfortable with after taking the decision. So once you've taken the decision, you're like, I'm glad I took this decision. And if you're happy with that, that's the right decision. It doesn't matter if it really made sense when you were taking it or not. With regards to situation, it is getting very tight. The government has slashed the number of immigrants they are taking, and it has become very difficult. So if someone has a PR already, it seems like this individual has, and the wife is already there, blessed. Like if Canada was their priority, they are very blessed because the number of immigrants that Canada will be taking are going down, and this is a liberal government. Probably the next government will be a conservative government, and they will cut it even further. The issue, the reason that they are cutting is because the infrastructure of the country has not kept pace with the amount of immigrants they are taking. So, call it hospitals, call it schools, everything takes certain time to develop, roads, infrastructure, but the amount of immigrants that have come in are far more than that. Typically, when you grow your population, you grow through birth. So a child is born, then they grow, they develop. So there's a process. Here you just take one set of people at certain age who are very demanding of particular infrastructure. So they'll have their kids coming in, they are themselves coming in a certain age as well. So the population growth is in that particular segment, and it hits and it doesn't progress. So because of that, they're cutting down, they're slashing. So people who will benefit more are the ones who are in Canada, and especially who can speak French, who are into certain occupations like healthcare. They will benefit, but others will suffer. But anyways, let's come to this particular individual. If he is to move in 4 to 5 months, my recommendation, and you can speak to it as well because this is from he is in Dubai now, is that he needs to just hold on to cash. If it was a year, I would have said invest in some money market funds where he or she can earn some return, because the challenge is here, if you have certain amount of
But
cash.
hold on, we haven't came into like we haven't come across the next part, which mentions about his savings, whatever he has, the cash amount that he has, because then we can also. By the way, whoever has written this email, I don't mention the names or anything, but there is no mention of the age. But by the looks of it, it seems that they are young, maybe in their 30s or something like that, because they don't have mention about anything for the kids. The next line is important because then we can discuss about what he can do and what are the possibilities. So the next line is like, so by the time I'm moving, I should have around 135,000 dirhams in savings. What would you suggest would be the best investment instruments? I would also need some amount until I start earning in Canada for my expenses and any other joint expenses as well. So would be grateful if you could suggest a split on how much should I invest right now and how much I should use for my expenses in Canada. So he's having only 135,000 dirhams. which translates to
50,000 Canadian.
50,000 Canadian. So is it a good, like, if I consider that they don't have any kids and the wife is already working there, which probably she's making some kind of income already, he might not be under like pressure to start earning from the day one because he's got some savings as well. He's asking about investments. He's asking about what to do with these savings. What do you suggest if a new immigrant going there? What are the possibilities? Later on, we'll also discuss about the possibility of him buying a home, or they combine buying a home with this amount that they have in hand.
Yeah, so Wally, first thing, as I was previously saying, because they only have a few months living in Dubai and they have to move, so I would not recommend this individual investing any money in Dubai anymore. Because if anything, this is the time for him to liquidate the cash investments that he has, which he wants to keep with him, and he wants to move to Canada with those investments. So, assuming this 50,000 Canadian dollars he has in cash, I would have said if he still has a year or more to invest in some money market funds where he can protect against inflation. But since a few months are left, I would say just in cash, anything that he has, keep it in cash and transfer that money to Canada, assuming they want to keep this money for themselves in Canada. The second piece, which is important here, is emergency fund, because his wife already has a job, but he doesn't, which is not the best of the scenarios. Plus, I don't know how much his wife is earning, assuming it's because the reason I say this is because in Canada, you can earn well, but you both have to work. It is not like Dubai where one person can manage the entire household. So when you both work, you can still earn well. I'm assuming if it's just one individual, then they would not. That may not be enough. But then it also depends if they have kids or not. So let's assume they don't have kids. In that case, or rather, let's assume if they have kids. For a family of four, you need a certain kind of accommodation as well. It would be somewhere around $5,000 to $6,000 Canadian that you should expect per month to be an expense. So when someone is coming new to Canada, I tell them at least have 5,000 per month or 6,000 per month forecasted. Let's take 6 towards the upper side. Now you should have that money at least for a year. Even if it's 6 months, it's good, but 6 months is slightly tight. You don't know, you enter Canada in a situation where there is a slum, market economy, everything, which is kind of situation now because there are less jobs, there are more people who are going after the job. So I would say you should have around $50,000 to $60,000 saved with you when you're moving to Canada. Now the good thing here is his wife is already working, but in any case, irrespective of his wife working or not, I would say 6 months to a year of emergency fund, which would be around $60,000, $50,000 here. Given his wife is working, we can take the lower end of the range and say he should save $50,000. Now, $50,000 happens to be the same number he has. So the idea is he cannot. I don't recommend him investing that money in any stocks, in any bonds, in any housing or real estate. Rather, this is the money he needs to keep in cash. The challenge is if you keep that much money in cash, you get hurt by inflation. And hence, this is what I would recommend is open an account with a broker. Don't go to a bank. Don't put this money in the bank. Open an account with a broker. Open an account with the bank as well, but open an account with the broker and put this money in the money market accounts with the broker. Money markets accounts is an investment account where typically the broker will invest in bonds or in cash equivalents, and they are less risky, and they provide slightly above inflation returns as well. So I was just checking the numbers. If you invest with, there's a broker called Wealthsimple, which I highly recommend. They don't pay me. They're not a sponsor, not an affiliate either, but they're a good broker. I've used them as well. If you put your money there, you will be able to earn 3.75% return on it, which is not massive, but at least you will be able to cover inflation. So this money will not lose its value, one, and will also be there for you to serve as a hedge against any emergency at the same time.
Right. 3.75% they're still giving, even though the rates have been slashed recently in Canada, because this is a good percentage now, considering that whatever have been happening. Because even in Dubai, a while back, a good risk-free return was fetching around 5.5, or even in some cases 6%. Like just 8 months back, it was in some cases I can get 6% easily. Now, at this point, easy money can be around 5%, 4.5%, not better than that. So 3.75, considering it's Canada, with a brokerage account as well simple, it looks good. So this is a good suggestion for anyone, because I know banks would be giving very low returns. It would be near to zero almost. So better to have this option of well simple, I believe, because there are brokers like Interactive Broker who pays you interest even if you have the amount lying down just as cash. But in Well Simple, I believe you have to have a different space, a saving space kind of thing that you have to create, and then you put it there. It's not like just transferring the amount; it will start generating some kind of returns, right?
Yeah, you're right. So there are certain brokers where you just put your money in and they will just give you the returns. With Wealthsimple, what you have to do is you have to do a check mark. This money is in, and then you have to tell them, yes, I allow this money, which is in my account, not invested, to be invested in money markets, and only then they will invest. So it's not like you open the account, you transfer your money, it won't start earning return. It will only start earning return once you notify them, and there is an option of doing it. Do you want to invest it in money markets? And the idea is, even with me now today, all any emergency fund that I have is invested in the money markets because I want to protect my emergency fund against inflation. And to answer your question, I checked this rate like 3 hours ago. It's
Okay.
3.75 despite
Okay.
all the reduction. Yeah, so it's very
Okay.
recent, very latest, and factoring in all the reduction.
But the
Let's assume
problem
there will
with
be.
problem with this is, so sorry I'm interrupting you, but the problem with this return is that this is very momentarily, and it can change next month or even next week. This is the problem with the, because I know Well Simple is the same group which is working here as Sarva, because Sarva is almost the same thing as Well Simple. If you see even the interface, it's almost the same. And I know the management, they are almost the same, as not almost the same, but I know they are coming from there, from Canada. But I know that these guys can change the rates anytime, because it's on their own will, and whatever the market dynamics change, whenever the market dynamics change.
100%. But see, the idea is just keep it above inflation. So as long as it can drop below inflation as well. But inflation is 2 to 2.5%. So even of, I would say, let's say if the interest rate comes down by another half a point, you're still above inflation. So the idea is emergency fund is just there for you to use it when you need it, and you just don't want to lose its value. It just maintains value, and value is, if as long as I can earn 2 to 2.5% return on it, I'm good. And here we are getting 3.75, which is pretty good.
Okay, now there is another point that I want to discuss with you. You've mentioned that you don't have to go with the investments with this kind of amount, because it's, first of all, it's not that high, and then once he's going there, he's still not having job or anything certain for the next 6 months or so. So he should not think about investment. But I know a few people who uh, who out of FOMO go there, start living, and even without having a job, commit themselves to a mortgage. And I don't know how come they get the mortgage as well. And I know their situation, the financial situation is not good, but then they think about the dreams of having, let's say, a basement tenant, and paying it off somehow or the other. So what do you say about those kind of people?
Yeah, so you get this a lot in Canada. Property prices are rising, or maybe it's the same in Dubai as well, right? Property prices are rising, buy. Property prices are falling, it's low, so buy. And you can never time the market. You will never be able to time the market, and especially for the house that you want to live in. If it's an investment, you can still say, okay, I'll hold, I won't hold, and what. Even then, you can't time the market. You won't know exactly what is the good time. But I would not recommend buying house in pressure for a couple of reasons. One is, when you are moving to Canada new, you need mobility and flexibility. You don't know where you will get the job. It's similar to Dubai. So, for instance, if you're coming to GTA, your drive time can span between 0 to 4 hours or 3.5 hours, depending where you live, where you get a job. So, it is very important for you to first come here and make sure you know where your job is, because you don't want to add to your commute time. Second is, it is important you come here, you get the feel of where your social circle is, which schools you want to put your kids in. Because one primary thing, or one thing which is different in Canada is, if you are sending your kids to a public school, then they only go to the school of your neighborhood, which is very good, which is very smart as well. So you don't have to drive kids long way. but then you have to choose the right neighborhood. So it cannot be, for instance, in case of Dubai, you live in Sharjah, but you send your kids to school in Dubai. You can do it. You can drive and drop them and pick them up. But I'm just giving an exaggerated example. But in Canada, that is not possible. In Canada, you can only send them to the neighborhood school, which is a good thing for me because your kids kind of walk to school. It's their commute time is zero. For me in Dubai, when I was living in Dubai, it was a challenge for me to commute my kids from one place to another. But the negative thing is once you have to be very clear where you want to send your kids to, because basis that you will be able to know where to live, and you will decide this is the neighborhood I want to live in. Second is this is one, which is the neighborhood, the office, then the schooling. So I don't recommend you buy a house as soon as you come. Rather, you wait it out. There is no
Right.
good time. There is no bad time.
Right. I absolutely agree with you because one has to understand their social circle and more than that, the work location. And then for both partners, maybe wife have some location, but then the location is totally different for husband, and they might have to go, let's say, 5 days a week to the office. There is another thing I just wanted to, before I move further to the email, I just wanted to know because the same person I'm referring to, where he was thinking about actually he got the mortgage somehow without having a job, but I don't know how it happened. But they were also planning for opening a daycare facility for children, and they were thinking about this business without any experience in Canada. They were thinking that the wife will get the training, and the numbers people can do easily on Excel sheet. Do you have any idea how profitable this business is? And does it really work this way that people can just go and start this thing? If you have any idea about that.
Yeah. So to the first question, why is it so easy to get a mortgage in Canada without even having a job? Um, I believe so. If the amount that you're putting in as initial equity is 30 to 35% or more, they give you the mortgage because they know even if you go underbelly, they'll just sell your house and will make up the money. Like the property prices won't. They're assuming the property prices won't tank by 35%, and even if they tank by 35%, they can recoup their money. So it is more on you, which is when you put in 35% and then you don't pay any annual payments or monthly payments, then you're in trouble. With regards to starting the business, again, the idea is I strongly feel that you have to come here, you have to understand the lay of the land and then do it. You then start any business of this kind. I know there are people who have home daycares. I sent my kid to one of the home daycares as well. You can get a license for it. It's possible. And it's cheaper as well. So people at times prefer to send their kids to home daycare as well. But all I'm saying is if you buy a house after 1 year, it doesn't hurt. People will give you the logic that you are paying someone else's mortgage. Frankly speaking, the rent in Canada is cheaper than the amount you would pay for if you purchase the house on monthly basis. What really makes money in Canada in terms of real estate investment is capital gain. The rental income zeroes out because the taxes, the interest, the insurance, all of this when you add up, it will be rather for the first year it will be negative. It is only you start benefiting in real estate investment after 2 or 3 years when your rental income continues to rise, but your mortgage is flat, your insurance is kind of flattish, your taxes are not growing with the same amount. It is only then you start benefit from your rental income. But in year one, it is a negative cash flow. In year
Right.
two, probably it will be zero. In year three, you will start making money in terms of cash flow. So if the idea is that I don't want to pay someone else's mortgage, well, for 1 year, you'll be paying more in the rental. So if the idea is you only come here, like what I'm saying is you can skip a year easy, you can skip 2 years and not buy a house, and it will make zero impact mathematically on your financials.
Correct.
Except you
Absolutely.
may, sorry,
Yeah.
except you may miss on a capital gain, but then you don't know whether the capital gain will continue to happen or not. One. Second, if you have that much money, I would rather invest it in the stock market and let it grow there. So you kind of still get the capital gain on that money and then buy the house after 2 years.
And still it will be liquid in case you want to have it for some reason. Okay, then further on he's saying that if you could suggest any material or content that I could go through that would be useful for someone moving from Dubai to Canada, that would also be great. And I think, by the way, this guy is from India, and he understands Urdu or Hindi, and I would suggest him to watch Behro's Hindi channel, or let's say Urdu Desi channel, where he and his wife talk about such kind of content. So I'll list that out in the description. In case you're watching that on Behrouz channel, you can of course find that in the description as well. And also the best way to find jobs in Canada and here itself before I land there. Additionally, I also plan to start. Okay, the second part I would come later on because this is very interesting. The last part of this email. But before that, what are the possibilities to find jobs before he lands to Canada? This is a main question of this point. Yes, and then as I mentioned, he can watch your channel, your Desi channel as well.
Yeah, so talking about jobs, the best way to find a job, or one needs to understand, is networking, which is you have to find someone in that organization where you want a job to help you find the job. And here is I recommend, and this is I'll say it in a very brief way, but as I recommend you, it would be good if you check out my channel where I talk in detail about this. What you need to do is first make a list of all the friends you have. Pick an Excel file and make in that Excel file, start adding all the people you know, friends, family, and people you know. Let's say there are 10 people or 12 people you know who are already living in Canada. Then next to that column, write where are they working today. Let's say Behrouz work for Lego. Someone works for, let's say, a TD Bank, a BMO Bank, depending on where they work. So you put where they're working. And then in a third column, put in where they know someone working. So let's say I work for the Lego group, but I have a brother who's working in Reckitt Benckiser. So they will put Behrouz, Lego, Reckitt Benckiser. Once you've completed this file, then prioritize the organizations where you think you are relevant. So while I'm in finance, I'm not relevant for bank because I've never been in banking finance. I've always been corporate finance. So I will strike out anyone who is in bank or knows someone in bank. So probably if you have 10 friends, you will be left with 4 people who are really the ones where they can kind of help you. Then second, what you need to do is you need to go on LinkedIn and put notifications on LinkedIn in those organizations. So whenever there's a role that comes up in those organizations, LinkedIn will send you a notification saying there's a role in finance in that particular organization. You reach out to that friend and say, I have applied to this role already. Here is my resume. Can you please pass on my resume to the right desk or to the right individual? So this is kind of a step one where you kind of find job. Second, what you need to do is, because let's say you're left with only 4 or 5 companies this way, and rather before I talk about the second, the reason I say that you have to look for a job first and then send them the resume, because I used to do this as well, and people do this with me as well, which is, here's my resume. Whenever you find a job, please help me. I go like, I won't, when there's an opportunity that comes in my organization, I won't remember you. So even if it's you, Wali, so you come to Canada, you say, here's my resume, please help. I'll forget about you. And it's not because we're not friends. It's just because there are things which will catch up. That email will start going down. So it is your responsibility to know or check that whenever there is a role which opens up in my organization, you come and tell me there's a role which is opened. You said you have contacts. Can you please help me? The second piece is, because you only have 4 or 5 friends and you don't know many other people, then you make a list of organizations where you want to work, but you don't know anyone. The reason is, like, those organizations are ones where you have aspirations to work, you think they're relevant, and you make their list, and then you put notifications for those organizations as well in LinkedIn. Whenever a job opportunity comes in for them, then you go in LinkedIn and look for people who are working in that organization. And especially if someone who's brown, coming from India and Pakistan, look for a brown person. Look for a person who's recently moved to Canada like 4, 5, 6 years ago, started working there. I got a lot of interview calls by just doing that. So I would find a brown guy I remember finding a brown guy in Walmart. So there was a job opportunity that came in Walmart. There was an Indian guy. I messaged him saying, I just moved to Canada, similar to you. You moved here 5 years ago. I'm going through the same challenge and I need your help. Can you please pass on my resume? they understand because they just went through the same challenge 4 or 5 years ago. They are so willing to help you. So your hit rate would be 90% plus, and they will be responding to you. So these are the two ways. One is where you have your friends, and the other is look for organizations where you want to work and then find someone you can relate to. Another way to relate to people is if it's an international company you worked for. For instance, I work for Procter& Gamble, international company. So if there was someone from Procter& Gamble working in Walmart, it would be very easy. I don't know them, but I just say, we come from the same background. Or there's someone who's brown, Arab, maybe even because they immigrate, or some other immigrant, maybe it doesn't have to be really brown immigrant, but I'm just saying this, the order gets challenging more and more. If you start with, for me, it would be PNG first, brown people second, and then maybe Arab third, and then any random immigrant I would just reach. And if I still don't find anyone, I would just reach out to a white person and just do a cold call. Chances of them getting back to you are less, but this is a sure, short success way of landing a job. I can tell you, you'll land a job like this in 6 months in Canada.
Okay, one more thing I just wanted to mention here, as I'm meeting a lot of people nowadays who want to work in Dubai, coming from, let's say, Canada, Europe, UK. I just met a person recently, and he mentioned that I've done a lot of things, and on LinkedIn I've been very active and sending people a lot of messages. And I've got a LinkedIn premium as well, but still I'm not getting anything for the last 4 months. And then I asked him, where is your LinkedIn? Just show me. When I opened his LinkedIn, it was flat. There was no post from his side. There was no comment or no nothing like that. So I said, this is not the way that you're going to progress on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is a social media community. It's not like it's not something of a CV showcase. So if you make anything for yourself, it will not be viewed by people who want to look into it. The way that you've mentioned about LinkedIn is definitely the way one should approach in case they want to have job. And then also, let's say if the person who you want to get attracted towards you is active on LinkedIn, then you must also interact with them. You just go to their profile, comment there, look at their companies. One person told me that, like, for me, if I'm doing social media and if I want to have some kind of interaction with the chief marketing officer of one of the brands that I want to interact with, I just go to that brand's page. And nowadays, all the brands make sure that their employees are also there and with their specific designations. And I can directly reach out to them. If I'm relevant, they will come back to me. So this is how you need to work out. It's not like you just make a profile and then sit down silently. So
Can I add one more thing to it, which
yeah.
is, well, I started being very active on LinkedIn almost 2 years ago, and the amount of job offers I get now are far more than I used to get before. And I have a feeling that I start to rank higher in search. And the reason I'm ranking higher in search is just because I'm contributing more to LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is rewarding me by putting me higher on search. So if someone is searching out to you, let's say you and I have the same profile, and there is this individual who's searching out, my profile will land higher in ranking in search results for that recruiter just because I contribute more than you. So I have better chances of getting that job. So very good advice, which is even before you start your move to Canada, just start being active on LinkedIn.
100%, right. And the next part of this question is actually related again. Just let me read it out and then we can discuss about that. Now he's continuing the email. Additionally, I also plan to start creating content as side hustle. So any advice on that too would be great. Keep following me. Keep following. Okay. And then your content is helpful. Keep up the good work. Thanks and regards. So last line he has mentioned is about our own passion, your LinkedIn and YouTube and my also. So talk about something regarding content creation. I've seen your LinkedIn post where you've mentioned your breakdown of last month's revenue that you've received from LinkedIn, which is staggering for someone who's only getting 15,000 subscribers. And this is a misconcept we've been talking about all the time, that the number of followers or number of views on social media or impressions on social media is not directly proportional to whatever income that you can generate from there. So what is your take on that?
So this is a great question. As you said, we both of us have a lot of passion for it. What I would do is, one, be ready for a long game. It won't happen in 1 month, in 1 year, 2 years. It will be longer. It can. You can strike some luck, but don't assume that luck to be there. So assume, can you sustain, I would say, 3 years without any gratification, without zero, and call it 5 years with just being, no, assuming you won't really break the bank. So if you can sustain for 3 to 5 years, let's say without any gratification, then go for it, which is not easy because we are humans. No matter how much we talk about, I will be a monk, I will continue to be very consistent, it's not possible. So the way one can deliver this is, my recommendation is, make it very simple, make it very easy for you, so that you can do it regularly. I always say this: the best workout for you is the one that you can do daily, even if that means it's 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups, 10 squats, as against going to gym for 1 hour for 1 week and then not going at all. So find out, I develop a process where you can deliver content on social media, call it through YouTube, call it through LinkedIn, but do it in a way where you can do it consistently for 3 years. If you can create that plan, you can do it without getting bored, without feeling, oh, no one is watching my post, no one is giving me a like, I'm not earning anything. If all of this is a way you can still do it, then it's a success. And to do it is, keep it very simple. Don't need to buy expensive gadget. Don't need to invest a lot of time as well. Like, you don't need to make 5 videos a week. Just make one video a week. Make one video a month. Maybe start with that. Just make one video a month, then make it 2 videos a month. Because this compounds. You start getting better at it. It would take me a lot of takes just to say, hello, this is Behroz on in front of camera, and now I can speak in front of camera much easily. So keep it simple, keep it easy, start small, start low, don't go aggressive, don't go big, and just build it from there. So this is one thing that I want to say. And second is, he mentioned he's a digital marketing field, which is a field which is, I think, very relevant for social media, because there is an angle of selling and marketing at the end of the day. So I think there is a lot of skill set that he can use here, which you and I had to develop, and we are still developing. So I'm sure he's much better than us in that particular skill set of how to market, or how to learn to market, because we had to learn by doing all the mistakes. So I think that's an edge he has.
Actually, just to interrupt you here, because this is same thing I've mentioned to to a group of people who I've delivered this workshop about real estate. I told them that, see, I'm a professional, and like you are also a professional, and you're creating a content on online, let's say on YouTube, LinkedIn, which is not directly related to your own job right now. And my job is completely different, and I'm delivering something else. This create a lot of hindrance or friction for me to upload anything. Like, it's been 3-4 years now for me to upload the content, so it's fine now. But in the beginning, it was really a difficult task for me to upload the content. But for someone, let's say a real estate agent who is doing normal, regular real estate videos, it's very easy for him to upload anything regarding content for real estate. So it's very easy. Anything, he can post anything, because he's independent, but not myself. And similarly, this guy, if he's a digital marketing, let's say, professional, for him to upload anything on social media, it's piece of cake. Nobody will judge him. But for us, it's a huge task for me to upload anything. So this is something, it is their unfair advantage. If there is unfair advantage, you should take benefit out of it.
Beautiful. Very well said. I got this comment from someone saying, are you in HR field now? Because I talk about career coaching. He's like, are you HR now? And I said no, and there was a smirk. But what happens is, once you start doing something consistently and start speaking about it, somehow people think you're an expert. So even in my office, people will come and say, oh, I have this investment. Can you tell me where are you investing, and this and that? So there are times when I've learned about how to invest just because there were questions coming to me. So someone would ask me a very strange question, which I'm like, oh, I've never thought about this. Thank you for asking me the question. Let me come back to you. And then I would study and then go back and say, this is so. The idea is, you don't have to be an expert. So as long as you, so one is like you, which is the unfair advantage you have. If you don't have that unfair advantage and you have passion for a certain field, then you go and just talk about it so much that people think that you're an expert. They'll start giving you questions. You don't have an answer to the question. You start learning about it. Once you start learning about it, you start getting better at it. So that is another way as well. But this is what we have done, which takes longer. If you already have authority in the field, it is much easier. And
100%.
on the same lines, another thing that I would just like to say, which is because the question is, okay, what do I make content about? Did he mention what does he want to make content about? Did he say side
No,
hustle?
he didn't mention that, but
He said
and
as a side hustle.
even he didn't mention if it's YouTube, LinkedIn, or any other platform. So it's open field for him. Anything he can do.
Yes. So because there are people who always ask as well, wow, you're making good money. I want to do the same as well. What should I make content about? One tip I'd give them is think of the last time someone gave you a call and asked you a question about something. Let me give you an example. A friend of mine, before I started my YouTube channel, gave me a call and said, I want to move to Canada. Can you tell me how to find a job in Canada? And I sent her a long voice message on WhatsApp. It was good 5 minutes long. And she replied back by saying, wow, amazing. Thank you. This is wonderful. So I was like, this is good. So I listened to the message. I'm like, okay, this is good information I shared with her. And I made a video out of it. And that was my first video on my channel. I cringe when I see that video, but that was the first video I made on the channel. The idea is when someone is asking you that question, it means there is a demand for that question. Like there is demand for how do I move to Canada and find a job? And this individual has the same question as well, luckily or coincidentally. The second piece is they think that you have the answer. You may not have the answer, but they think you have the answer. So there's someone in this world who assumes you have the answer, and there's someone in the world who has that particular question. Just start making content about that. Think of the last time someone gave you a call and said, I'm buying a car, which car to buy? I want to go to a car dealer, which car dealer to go? I want to fix my car, how to fix my car? Anything. And see, this is what happens with you, Wali, as well. So I give you a call and say, okay, which gadget should I buy for my sound? Which mic should I buy? You advise me, and then you go like, this is a good content to make because there's someone in this world who has this question and they think that you have the answer. Even if you don't have the answer, you go search it, learn it, and then make a content out of it.
Exactly. This is the way that I have started my affiliates with Amazon as well. I uploaded one picture of mine, my desk setup, and then the affiliate came from there. And this is another story that I can go on, and we both can discuss this for hours long. There is one more thing, the last thing, because the email has ended and our call is also 42 minutes now. But I just wanted to mention one more thing. You remember 2 years back when I was about to travel anywhere, I had to make batch content because I was uploading rigorously at that time. At that time, one day I shot 7 videos in a day, in a row for that particular day, and out of those 7 videos, one video is making me, it's around $5,000 right now. It's standing at $5,000. Although the other 6 videos, they are just not working anymore. But that particular video on YouTube, it's making almost I think $10 or something like that every day, or maybe more. And right now it's around $5,000 cumulatively. So you never know what will work. So you have to just keep on doing something which you understand, that which you like, and then eventually it will hit. I don't think so that if you do if you put on some kind of effort in something, it will be wasted. It will eventually come up to you, but it might take some time. So Behroz, I think it took us a long time. I thought that it would be 30 minutes maximum, but it is now 45 minutes, approaching 45 minutes. But the email was good because this is close to our heart. I think it was around 3 to 4 topics that we've covered here. We've been making courses about these topics as well. You made course about personal finance as well. I do the same. So anybody who wants to enroll will find details in the description. Anything you want to add to this, Behroz?
So, Wali, since you mentioned about the course, and especially for this guy, I would highly recommend there is a course I am just running now, which is How to Build Wealth in Canada. And I talk about all the tools and tricks that I kind of, some of them that I mentioned here, and many more as well. So it's currently a live session, but eventually it will become a recorded session that I will upload. So I would recommend that they check out that course as well, specifically for Canada. So that's something that recommended. I'll also say again, the decision to move to Canada, congratulations for this individual. It's not the right decision for everyone, but for those for who it is the right decision, I think it would be one of the best decisions they would be taking. And it's not easy for the first 2 years. So forget about ease. It will be very painful. There will be times when you'll think like, I made a mistake. Why did I come here? But suddenly after 2 years, it flips. It flips and starts to become very easy. It's just that you have to have an open mind. You have to network more. You have to connect with more people, talk to more people, be it career point of view, be it from your side hustle point of view, and be ready to pivot. You cannot just be the same individual being in the same rut. You have to pivot, you have to grow out of your shell. And if you do that, you will be successful in Canada. If you don't, there are people who struggle just because they cannot pivot, they cannot move out of their shell, and then they miss the life that they had before. And either they go back or they just crib about it all the time.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Baruz. I hope we do more collaboration in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Oli. Thanks a lot.